For as long as we've known, we are instilled with the idea that we should give, share, and prioritize being generous over our personal interests. But does anyone warn us about the dangers of being too kind and benevolent? We live in a world where we don't always receive what we give, as it's filled with generous people who witness how they are drained both financially and energetically from indiscriminate giving. Could excessive generosity even put our own lives at risk? Surprise yourself with the unexpected detrimental effects that kindness can bring upon you. Today, we'll reveal the 8 things that happen to you when you are too good, and present you with 4 Stoic strategies to prevent people from taking advantage of you. Let's get into it. 1. You will have unrealistic expectations of people. The Stoics emphasize the need to accept circumstances as they are and not base our happiness on the actions of others. By giving without expecting much in return, you avoid disappointment and practice emotional detachment, leading to greater peace of mind. It's hard for us to be entirely selfless when we unconsciously or consciously expect others to do the same. When you give your all, you might expect others to reciprocate, especially when you're the one in need. However, you've conditioned people so much to rely on you that they'll take for granted that you can handle everything, both their lives and your own. Especially your own, because otherwise, why would you be taking on others' responsibilities? The truth is that your expectations of reciprocity won't be met, and what will happen is that you'll gain a lot of frustration, fatigue, and disappointment. Nevertheless, if we approach it calmly, people aren't failing you, they're doing what you should also be doing, taking care of their own responsibilities. 2. People will only expect you to give. According to the Stoics, it's important to remember that true value comes from acting in accordance with virtue and reason, not simply catering to others' expectations. Practicing moderation and giving in a balanced way allows you to maintain control over your own actions and avoid falling into habits that erode your emotional well-being. You've heard all the time that humans are creatures of habit, and nothing could be truer. Humans are programmed to adapt to routines, life dynamics, and the things happening around them. From this tendency to adapt comes the concept of the comfort zone. This means that if you get used to giving all the time, the beneficiaries of your generosity will expect you to give all the time. In other words, you will lead people to their respective comfort zones, and they'll stop doing many of their obligations because they expect you to do them. The problem you will face in this case is not valuing yourself, because if you don't, it's unlikely that someone will look you in the eye and tell you to think more about yourself. At least don't expect this kind of empathetic acts from those you help, as they will see you as their personal Robin Hood, and that will come at a high cost to their lives. 3. Your priorities will be trampled upon. Setting boundaries and prioritizing our own responsibilities is essential for maintaining balance and avoiding sacrificing our authenticity and well-being for others. If you're giving yourself completely to others' priorities, you may find yourself running away from something inside you that causes you pain and fear. What emotions do you experience when you spend the weekend alone or return home every day knowing that no one is waiting for you? If the reason for this diversity is the desire to escape from yourself, the blow will be doubly hard because, on one hand, sooner or later, you will come face to face with your inner self, while on the other hand, your bad mood will grow as you neglect your own priorities to attend to others. Self-care is a fundamental factor in achieving well-being. Before providing comfort to others, you must ensure that you feel content, pampered, and well cared for. Remember, it's you first, then the rest of the world. 4. You will be seen as weak and treated as such. Stoicism encourages us to cultivate inner strength and self-mastery. By setting boundaries and practicing self-discipline, we can show others that we are committed to our own responsibilities and values, earning their respect rather than being perceived as weak. If you're helping excessively with your time, you might be seen as an authority in the area you collaborate with others. However, you may be giving off the opposite image because when you don't set boundaries, people start to see you as weak, exactly like the leader's antagonist. So much so that they will turn to unload their responsibilities onto you because they know you won't say no. However, from the moment you start using this magical word, they will begin to feel something for you that they hadn't considered before: respect. 5. You will encounter many buts, those that only come to you when they need something. Stoicism teaches us to value discernment and wisdom when choosing whom to help. Through self-control and objectivity, we can recognize genuine people from those seeking to take advantage, avoiding expending our energy on unproductive situations. Suddenly, those who considered you a good friend will start excluding you from fun and only turn to you when they need something. If we think about it logically, it's not so far-fetched that this could happen to you because people don't usually invite their employees and collaborators to have coffee with them, let alone share a beer. Of course, just because it's logical doesn't mean it's fair. You must learn to handle the strategies to prevent people from using you, which we will share with you later. 6. You will attract only people who need and never those willing to give. Through Stoic discernment, we can cultivate authentic and mutually beneficial relationships. People who come into our lives do so in response to the vibrations of our energy. That is, if we vibrate at a low frequency, we attract negative, pessimistic, dark-spirited, and malevolent people. However, when our vibrations are high, we attract people full of positive energy, generosity, enthusiasm, hard work, and joy. That's why, when we give indiscriminately, we lose so much energy that we start vibrating at a low frequency, which attracts needy people to us, and even the opportunistic ones, who have no intention or resources to help, but only come to extract everything they can from us and then disappear, without even having to say thank you. 7. You could end up in addiction. The Stoics promoted moderation and self-control. Practicing self-discipline and generosity helps us avoid falling into addictive patterns and allows us to maintain a healthy relationship with our actions and decisions. When scarcity becomes part of our daily life, the need grows, and that's the best scenario to fall into addiction. So, one day, someone close to you may notice that you're drinking too much, not exactly mineral water, or that you're eating too much, or even gambling too much. Pay close attention to what someone who cares about you can tell you, because your first reaction might be to get angry with them and yell that you don't have any problem. But this is the most typical reaction of people who are so immersed in their own problem that they aren't capable of recognizing that they have one. Always remember that people who care about you only want what's best for you, so take their observations very seriously to help you stop falling and move forward. 8. You will raise suspicions. Stoicism encourages us to act virtuously, regardless of how others perceive us. By focusing on living in harmony with our principles and values, we build a genuine reputation resistant to unfounded suspicions. As much as we would like things to be different, the truth is that genuinely kind people are not abundant in this world. Therefore, if you are one, you will raise suspicions instead of admiration and gratitude. It won't take long after you display your kindness for people to start wondering what's going on with you and what hidden intentions you might have that you don't reveal to anyone. This means you've encountered a group of mistrustful people. Not necessarily, but it's more likely that they are being realistic. Most excessively kind people tend to hide such macabre intentions that it's best to stay away from them and give up on the help they want to offer. Now, let's look at the strategies to prevent people from using you. Strategy 1. Listen to your feelings. They are speaking to you. Based on the Stoic idea of self-awareness, pay attention to your emotions and feelings. The Stoics believed in the importance of self-reflection to understand your reactions and needs. By listening to your feelings, you can identify if you are giving too much and emotionally exhausting yourself, allowing you to adjust your focus and find a healthy balance. How do you feel when you help others, prioritize them, and give them priority, an altruistic act that should make you feel like you're walking on clouds? Therefore, if you feel overwhelmed, drained of energy, angry, or used, it's time to listen to your feelings. If something to which you have no obligation causes you so much distress, don't lie to yourself so you can discover how the help you are providing affects your well-being. Strategy 2. Lose the fear of the word no. Following Stoic teachings, recognize that your time and energy are valuable and must be allocated consciously and in balance. Saying no in situations where you feel overwhelmed or when the request is unfair is a way to exercise your self-control. Although the word no is not associated with negative behaviors and pessimism, it's normal to find it difficult to say it. However, negativity is what will become of your life if you don't develop the ability to say this word. When someone demands more from you than you can give, practice in front of the mirror and convince yourself that it's the only way to regain your freedom and avoid unnecessary potential risks. Strategy 3. There is time and space for you. Respect them. Following the Stoic principle of self-discipline and self-respect, it's essential to set aside time and space to take care of yourself, do what you love, practice yoga, draw, listen to music while sipping a cup of tea, whatever motivates you. Finishing your obligations as soon as possible so you can practice it is something you should take very seriously as scheduling that time daily or weekly. Therefore, if someone asks for your help during that time, they must be very respectful and considerate of you, not the person. So, without remorse, tell them no and enjoy that time and space just for yourself. If you don't want to be so firm, you can offer your help for another time, but always make it clear that your availability will be limited because you have a life to attend to. Strategy 4. Identify energy vampires and distance yourself from them. Following the Stoic principle of self-discipline and discernment, it's important to recognize which relationships benefit you and which can emotionally drain you. By distancing yourself from people who constantly drain your energy and don't contribute positively, you are taking care of your own well-being and applying stoic self-control in your relationships. If you're trying to help an energy vampire, you should know it won't work. These people overwhelm you with their complaints, pains, and catastrophically negative outlook on life. Forget about helping them. They don't want to solve their problems because then they would have to stop complaining, something they wouldn't tolerate. In conclusion, according to Stoic wisdom, in life, the best measure for things is always the middle ground, and generosity is no exception. If we give too little, we come across as selfish and greedy, but if we give excessively, we will end up completely drained of energy, time, and probably money. So, lean towards the grays, which remain the best shades when it comes to finding a balance between prioritizing others and ourselves. And when in doubt, always remember the magic word, no, especially if someone is offering to take you home from the car window. If you liked this reflection, leave us a like or comment. We invite you to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications to continue watching more content like this. Thanks for coming this far.